ще заспіваємо разом цю пісню у нашому місті, у нашому.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anatoly Anatolich, and this is your favorite project, Cities. We are now in the city of Kherson. Kherson region is about the rustle of sand in the largest desert in Europe. It is the sound of the waves of the majestic Dnipro River and the two seas. It is the bray of zebras in a unique national park where more than 3,000 rare animals live. This is the sound of cutting a ripe Kherson watermelon. You won't hear it anywhere else. That's how my Kherson used to sound. But now, Kherson is about the sound of drones, incoming strikes, and broken glass. At the same time, the phrase Kherson is Ukraine is still very loud and clear. These 2 days in Kherson are likely to be the most dangerous in the history of our project. What immediately catches your eye are the additional protective constructions called gabions, which I have not seen in any other city. You notice them as soon as you leave the station. This is where people can take shelter during shelling attacks. Unfortunately, they happen regularly. It's amazing. There is a kind of dissonance. Kherson seems to be a ghost city. Gas stations are destroyed, traffic lights are not in operation, and there are a lot of traces of explosions. But as we drive along, we see a huge number of cars. It's not exactly a jam, but some dense traffic, like in a bedroom suburb in Kyiv. It's a strange contrast. These white column steles at the entrance to Kherson are well known to all Ukrainians. You can always see fresh flowers, and volunteers and military men often stop here. It is one of the symbols of Kherson. And by the way, I came here not by chance, but because I arranged a meeting with a local volunteer and activist, Namet. Let's go. Hello.
Hi.
I'm Tolia.
Namet.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Tell me, please, why did you choose this particular place?
First of all, it is the entrance. But after the deoccupation, this place became the heart of our city. You're standing here and thinking, I couldn't get here for almost a year.
We can go to Kherson itself. Can you show us any other places that are important to you?
I want to show you a remarkable place for the residents of Kherson, which unfortunately came under shelling in the first days and was destroyed and burned. I would like to show you what the occupiers have done.
Let's go. Namet, you brought us to the Fabrika shopping center. As far as I understand, this was the place where all Kherson residents gathered.
It was the largest shopping center in Kherson, located in the building of an old Soviet-era cotton factory.
Do you remember when you found out there was a missile arrival here?
Yes, it was in the early days of the invasion. The occupiers took a bypass road to get in. Some of them headed towards Mykolaiv, but there was already a battle going on there. Our military were resisting. Unfortunately, the tank shots pierced the cladding of the shopping center, and it caught fire. When the state emergency service arrived, they started shooting at them to prevent them from putting out the fire.
Did you start volunteering during the occupation of the city, when the Russians were already here? What were you doing?
I started driving around the city on the third day and showing on my social media what services were functioning and where: stores, pharmacies. I was saying that I was going, for example, to Kherson Cotton Mill. People wrote to me, "Go there, please. There is a grandma or grandpa there. Check if they are doing well, if they need anything." I found out who I could help myself, bought food, cooked soup and porridge, and brought all of that to them. We're walking in very open terrain. Occupiers are nearby. There are frequent missile arrivals in this area. I would advise you to hide under an awning because there are many cases of FPV drones dropping shells now.
Just on the civilians?
Yes.
You were actively volunteering. The occupiers noticed you.
They were paying attention to all the volunteers who were helping the locals. I was not the only one they followed and took away.
So they took you prisoner?
Yeah.
What was
They
it
took
like?
me out from home.
Can you tell me?
It was in the morning. There was a loud knock on the door. I realized it was them because early in the morning no one comes and says it's water service company Gorvodokanal. There was no point in hiding because they would have cut the door, kicked it open. I had a child and my ex-wife at home. I had already taken them out of the settlement at that point. I opened the door. They burst in and scared everybody. They took me away to the torture room.
And what did they say?
Nothing while I was in the apartment. They conducted a search of the place, put me in a minibus. They put me face down there, put a bag over my head and took me away.
Were you tortured? Maybe it's hard for you to talk about it, but can you tell me something?
There were tortures with electricity and beatings. You sit with a bag over your head, they shout out questions. There were a lot of them. I don't know how many. 2 of them tortured me for sure. One of them was torturing me with electricity, and the other one was using his hand.
And what did they want to hear?
Why I was volunteering, why I was helping, whether I knew who was organizing the rallies. Fortunately, I did not have such information.
What were you thinking at that moment?
Honestly, I was worried about something like this happening to my folks in the apartment. There was a child there. He was 4 years old. Also, my wife and mom.
How did you hold on?
There were several interrogations. Then they brought me in and took away my phone.
How long did it last? Were these people who interrogated you policemen, military, or from the FSB?
FSB for sure, and also some men in uniform. I don't know who they were. FSB were different from them. They were in civilian clothes, but it was clear who they were. They were giving orders, and an ordinary person certainly cannot give orders to the military.
You were released? You came home?
No, I was brought home with a bag over my head, just like that, and threatened that if I told anyone, if some information leaked out, they knew where I lived. And that was it. And then I started to notice that I was being bugged. Because when I called on Telegram, my phone would go off for a few seconds, then connect again, and I would hear echoes or some other voices in the background.
Did you continue volunteering or couldn't do it anymore?
Yes, the next day I went again. I was afraid, I had a panic fear that I was being followed, but I went anyway.
Привет.
How did you know the city was deoccupied?
On the first day, on the 11th of November, there were rumors that a military vehicle with a Ukrainian flag was moving around the city. I was very worried that it might be a provocation from the occupiers. But on the 12th of November, I saw my uniformed friend at the market. He said, "Brother, we are already here." It was hard to contain my emotions. I went to the district, took my wife, mother, and child, and we went to the square. On that square were our military, our flag.
How do you feel your city now? What is it like?
Unfortunately, now it's depressed, devastated. It doesn't have the life it used to have. I know for sure that as soon as everything is over, I will return to the city. Even though I'm Azerbaijani, I was born here. I have lived here all my life. I will do everything to make children's laughter sound here again. To have concerts, to have the life that was here before the occupation.
Thank you. Long live Kherson. Thank you.